To the Ref Room, hockey talk for referees, coaches, players, and fans.
Broadcasting live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
With your hosts, SIlz and Brad Baumruck.
Live.
The Ref Room starts right now.
And now your host.
All right, it is Monday. Welcome to the Ref Room, everybody. I am SIlz, along with my man, Brad Baumruck. Hope you guys are doing well. Brad, how's your week going, my friend?
It's going good. I mean, my heart goes out to all the people out in Florida that got hammered by the storm because my work has definitely increased. So yeah. I put in 10 hours today, and then now we're on to some hockey stuff. But I was happy to get on with you at least and see your smiling face because you started off with me right away that I look tired and old. But you didn't comment on my weight, so that was nice.
You perked up.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, anyway, I know you're busy. The hardest working guy in hockey nowadays. Anyway, got a couple things. First of all, I forgot to mention this last week. You know, our friend Coach Bo from York High School, I guess he had a baby. So we want to send congratulations out to him from all of us here at the Ref Room. So congratulations, Matt and your wife. And, hope all is going well. You're probably enjoying no sleep nowadays. So
he looks more tired than me.
Right. So a few things I thought we'd talk about today. I know you want to talk about some game sheet stuff, and I definitely want to touch on that with the iPads and the score sheets and things of that nature. But there's another story in the news today. You know, we had all that safe sports stuff that took place, many years ago with the gymnastics team. So I guess safe sports back in the news today. Another one of the headlines that soccer has major problems from top to bottom at all ages. So I wasn't happy when I took my 4-hour safe sport this year, but I will say I guess there's a reason for it. I guess this sort of thing is widespread, and it is throughout a lot of different sports that we really don't think about, and it is bad apparently. I guess looked like one of the coaches that was part of one of the Chicago pro teams is involved in this somehow, and it goes all the way up and down, all age levels. So I guess that's why we're all taking that safe sport stuff as much as we are.
Yeah.
So.
And hey, Scott, you know what? And the other thing is, too, it at least opens your eyes to some things that you might not even be watching for, that you could end up being a reporter for. So it's a good thing. When I worked in the medical office, we were first reporters for any kind of like elder abuse or anything like that. So and I had to do a training for it. I didn't have to do it every year. It might have been every other or something, but I had to do it. And if we noticed it, we were a first reporter. So, sometimes it could be something going on that you're not aware of, but you can file them anonymously. Yeah. And, it makes the investigation harder, but,
it makes it a lot tougher for them to do something. So you really probably need to attach your name to be really fair. So anyway, that's my 2 cents. But you can do it anonymously. That is true. All right. So let's talk about, have you done a lot of high school games recently, Brad? Have you seen a lot of the high school teams yet?
Yes.
Okay. Seen anybody that's really improved?
I've seen a good amount.
Improvements? I see a lot of teams that have struggled over the last several years that have really improved this year. I mean, I was actually impressed. There are some teams that we don't normally think of as being pretty strong in the league, but I'm seeing some changes this year, even in the JV level. So it was kind of interesting to see. I don't know if you've seen the same thing or if your experience has been different. You work more in the south area than I do. I'm more in like the north and maybe the central, like the west. So I don't know. There's some teams.
I'll be up north on Friday.
Yeah, I thought I saw something on there that you were.
And the one thing that I'm coming up there Friday, and then one thing I've noticed is the players overall, their skill level overall has all gotten better. And hey, I hate to say it, it was because of all that practice time during the shutdown. All these teams doing practice.
That's true.
They all got better. They really did. And, the goalies have really gotten a lot better.
Yeah. I think the guys have gotten stronger. They've gotten bigger. I mean, these boys are moving. I had a rivalry game yesterday. 2 teams that don't like each other. It was fun. It was a great game, too. It ended up, they traded goals. It was 1-1 into the third, and then one team finally won it 2-1. But boy, I love those games. Those are fun. They're fast and they're furious and they're exciting. Keeps us on our toes, and it was great because you got a lot of people in the building. When we came out of the locker room, we were in one of the rinks where you can typically hear people. We thought that building must have had 400 people in there. It was like 10 kids in there that were making all that noise, okay, standing on the glass. And
really?
Yeah, but the building filled. The building did fill up. They had a nice turnout, and it's 2 of the teams that typically are pretty good, but they look real good this year. I got to give it to them. Like there's an improvement for some of these schools. Look out! You guys are going to play some teams that you think you're going to take very lightly and go. They haven't been anything over the years. You're going to find out that some of these teams have really stepped it up and have come to play. So I'm pretty excited for that this year. We also, we've got, I got to say, like, we've got 5 AAA teams here in Chicago. And, we talked about this a little bit when we first got going. And, I thought, well, 5 teams, man. Is that going to deplete the other, like Central States? Is that going to deplete high school? What's it going to do? But I got to give it to you. Our 5th team is pretty damn good. Okay. I had them against a team from Wisconsin. I think Wisconsin has probably 2 AAA teams. Is that accurate, or do they have more? They might have something up north that I don't know about, but I'm guessing they have one in Madison, one in Milwaukee.
They have. Oh,
they got one up in Green Bay too, right?
Madison, Milwaukee, and then Madison, Milwaukee. Hang on, let me think here. Madison, Milwaukee, then Team Wisconsin.
Well, where's Team Wisconsin play
You
out
also
of?
have the Green Bay one.
The Gamblers, I think
They
they're
play out
called.
of, yeah, the Gamblers. I'm just trying to think because they're so spread out up there. There might.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any more, but I think that's it.
Where does Team Wisconsin play out of?
Team Wisconsin plays. They play out of. I think. I want to say Madison, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
I can go look.
No, I was just kind of curious because we typically see two of the ones that are closer to us here probably, but man, they got destroyed. Like they were destroyed by our.
Oh, that think about it.
Triple
Shattuck. No, Shattuck's in Minnesota.
Shattuck's Minnesota. Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah. But anyway,
Yep.
so
Yeah,
I mean,
Team Wisconsin.
hockey's looking pretty
Keep
good.
going, I'm
here,
sorry.
gotta tell you. Got some comments coming in here already before we jump in. Alan, what's up, buddy? Checking in. Frankie's doing well. I'm sure she'll pop her head up over here pretty soon. Are you guys back at Skokie? I know you got to be close. You got to have your doors open. Ice must be in, I think. Let's see. Chris says, just back from California early this morning. Refed a bunch of games out there. Here's Frankie right here, as a matter of fact, Alan. She's right here. You can't see me, but the hand is right on her head, okay? She's never far away. Blake checking in. What's up, Blake? You guys continue to be great. Ahai and Iho are lucky to have you. Shame to see so many refs have decided to move on. Yeah, I get it. I don't think we've seen the worst of what's going to come, to be honest with you, because the season technically just started like October 1st. I know we worked a lot of games in September. I thought this year September was a little bit busier than it normally is for September. But I saw the games coming up for this coming weekend. Coming weekend, boy, you want to talk about a lot of openings. I mean, I worked a solo game yesterday. I worked one. You said you worked 2 solo games yesterday, Brad?
Yeah, but that wasn't by design by any factor. That was unfortunately a referee forgot or something came up last minute and they weren't there. It was a really, really nice day out though, so I could see. And they were men's league games at 5:40 and 7 o'clock.
Men's league doesn't count.
So
that doesn't count. Means nothing, right? Anyway,
somebody might have went later that night. So it happens to the best of some people, and I've known people that have refereed for a really long time, and they're like,
yeah, it's it's going to be what it is. Be nice to the referees that show up to your games. Be glad that they're there, that they're taking the time to go over and, do the best job that they possibly can for you. And, know that they love what they do. Otherwise, they wouldn't be doing it. And thanks for that. Blake says Team Wisconsin is based in Appleton. Very cool. And what is this?
Okay,
Gamblers
that makes
have
sense.
taken some time away. I'm not sure what that means. Are you referring to the Green Bay Gamblers? Have they taken some time away?
They must have.
Yeah, so I'm guessing that's what he means.
He would know.
Yeah. Next time I'm home, we got to grab lunch. Okay, I'm not sure who that is, but yes, absolutely. Thank you for that. Hey, Paul.
Hey,
Great
yeah,
to
whoever
meet
it
you,
is,
Frankie.
we'll take lunch.
Yeah. My buddy Paul checking in. How you doing, my friend? Karen, Madison Capitals. Yeah, Madison Capitals are definitely around. I have seen them a couple times already. Chris says California is hurting so bad for refs. They flew me out there. Yeah, I know some refs have been flown out to different parts of the country. They are looking for people. They need good referees, especially for the higher level games. And Blake says yes, correct. So thanks for that, guys. Blake, hope you're doing well, man. I mean, you got a good team. I saw Blake about a week or 10 days ago. They're good. They are definitely on their game and very well coached. So, you're doing a great job there. And so is your organization, man. You guys have just, come up out of nowhere from, being a 5th AAA team to really coming in and, setting the world on fire with some of these wins that you've put up. So good for you guys. All right, get a couple things. We're going to talk score sheets. So, Brad, I'm going to let you kind of take this from here because I have my own take on this, and I'm going to share some of my thoughts, and I hope you guys will chime in because we're starting to see more of the electronic score sheets than we've ever seen before. And, there are some
I'll let
things.
you cover that part.
Okay.
I'll let you cover the electronic sheets. Yeah, I just want to point out some stuff that referees, best practices for what referees do with the beginning of a game. So once we get out there, you're going to check the rink. You're going to make sure that there's not a glaring hold at the concrete, stuff like that. But the next thing you got to do is you got to get that score sheet, okay? Number one, make sure one exists. Okay, you can't referee a game without a score sheet. And I don't even care if it's a piece of loose leaf paper that you record everything. I mean, I wouldn't suggest that. I'd find an actual score sheet with multiple copies and stuff like that. But you got to have a score sheet. You can't referee a game without it. Because in 3 years, when somebody goes, what happened in this game? You're going to go, I don't know. I've refereed 400, 500, 600, 1,000 games since then. Some people referee a ton. It's impossible to remember. So that's number one. Number two, best practice. Make sure that there's stickers, if there's stickers, on all of the sheets that are included. Okay? Don't go out there and it's just the top copy that has it. A, it creates a nightmare for you. B, if one team only puts it on one sheet and the other team gets a copy without their names on there, guess what? Okay, we just gave them an incomplete score sheet. And it's a sticker. You can get more, get Xeroxes. I don't care what you do. You got to figure that out. Next thing, you got to count the players that are on the ice and how many are on the sheet. It did happen here in Illinois a couple of years ago. There was a game that was played, and there was 21 names on the sheet, and they were not able to verify with video because that's what they do. They go and they pull video, and they'll count the players, make sure that they have certain amount of numbers and yada, yada, yada. They weren't able to verify it. That team had to forfeit that game, which was a win, which kept them out of playoffs. And that team rightfully was supposed to be in playoffs. If they had the right amount of players out there, we're going to give them the benefit of the doubt. They had the right amount out there. I'm not putting anybody down for not being there and not counting the numbers. But you got to count the players on the score sheet and count the players that are actually physically on the ice. Because what if you have 20 names on the sheet, but you have 21 players on the roster out on the ice? Now what? You have a completely different problem.
Let me just chime in here because, we're talking about the electronic score sheet. One of the beauties of that electronic score sheet is there's actually a number up there that tells you the number of players that are supposed to be on the ice. So it counts the players for you and puts a number up there, which is awesome. So if you didn't know that, somebody pointed that out to me one day. I'm like, it's brilliant. I love it. Go ahead.
Yeah, except for some reason, we had one of those that was counting wrong over the weekend.
Oh, boy. That's not
good.
So
we were like, okay. I'm like, this is not good. We verified it. We had the right players out there. We took roll call with the guys. They had the right amount of names on there, but it was giving us a different readout. I don't know what that was all about, but whatever. But so just double check it, So that happened. It's the first time I've ever seen that happen. I've always done it by the numbers as well. So, I think that's pretty foolproof. I think it was probably just something in the settings that just needed to be set on that particular iPad. The next thing is, make sure you have a coach's name on there. It sounds real difficult, but it's really not. The next thing is, too, a lot of teams come in and they're the crush. Okay, well, now I have to file a game report, and guess what? I have no clue where the crush are from.
Okay, I'm going to...
Zero.
I am in complete agreement with you on this. You can take me there now. I mean, I could take the show for about an hour now and talk about this because this will drive me nuts, but... You keep going because you're on a roll right now. So,
okay, so these are just best practices. Okay, so after you get done with that, make sure there's a date and a time on the thing, because we've had that. The people don't know when the time of their game was, And I get it. We do a lot of games. It can get cumbersome. The next thing is after the game is over. Okay, here's the big thing. Make sure there's a score written in, a final score. I don't care if you can't add or figure it out. Have somebody assist you. Make sure there's a final score in there. The next thing is, if there's any players serving suspensions, and there's a little box on there that says players serving suspensions, make sure the player is written in there. Again, referees, if we're not checking that and they're sitting out, right, but the coach forgot to write them off, oops, we didn't count, so we don't know there's not enough players on the ice to match the number of guys. Now we have a suspension, and that suspension didn't count unless they can get video of him not playing.
And if that box is empty,
these are all little nightmares.
Cross it off so they can't put somebody in later and say that person served a suspension. So when you complete the game, go through and X that box out so they can't write somebody into the suspension area.
And X out all the extra lines on everything.
Yeah.
The penalties, the goals, all that. X it all out so that these things don't happen and they don't become a problem. It's more so for yourself. The next thing is, too, if you call a match penalty, it needs to be written as a match on the score sheet. If it's not written on the score sheet,
it's not like poker and the cards read. It's not that way. You have to actually spell it out. Like, this is the deal. Chris said he had an alleged racial slur and had it written in the game notes, and someone scribbled it out. Yeah, that's a problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that stuff happens. But if there's multiple copies of it, they didn't get all of them.
Because if you had that in there and somebody scribbled it out, you need to report that. That's an incident report. Am I correct?
Yeah, I mean, I would report it. I report things though that people wouldn't even think of reporting.
Yeah, I get it.
I've done it, and I've seen some. There's some very, very. No. It's just I want somebody to know if something I thought was odd. Yeah. No, seriously, if you think something's odd, an email to somebody just saying, "Hey, you think I should report this?" They'll tell you, "Yeah, you should report it," or "Nah, don't worry about it. It sounds fine."
Yeah.
So with the game sheets, so those are the big important things. Then make sure you sign the thing at the end, and make sure your name is legible on the top of it. I mean, luckily here we have the software we can basically figure out who it is or get a hold of the assigner and they can let us know. But it just makes one extra step. It's actually two because the committee's going to come to us and then we have to go to the assigner and then the assigner has to look it up. So you're creating all these steps. So if we can just try to limit these things, that'd be great. And that goes for everybody in the entire country. That's not just us. Just speaking with some of the other people, it happens, I know, everywhere. But, let's try to limit it out a little bit and make sure that everything's there. Also, if you have to, count how many penalties each team took every game. Make sure that they don't have 12 on the sheet.
Right.
So those are my big pet peeves for the day. So we should have done the what the heck was that thing called that we did at the beginning? Brad's Breakout.
Brad's
Breakaway.
Brad's Breakaway.
That's what we should have done. I didn't call you early enough. That was the problem. So,
yeah.
But no, let's just try and get these things cleaned up a little bit, and I think it'll make your life easier. It'll make everybody else's life easier.
Well,
so that's the big thing. And
I can tell you, I just want to kind of jump in here because I think the electronic score sheet is a fantastic idea. I have some things that I would like to see, especially since we've changed systems. Gino, if you're watching this or you get to watch the replay, we give you our 2 cents, which we gave you when you were on the show. We talked about certain things and some things have been changed and made better for the system. But I'm a big proponent of if you've got an electronic sheet, it should tell us what league they're playing in, where they're from, and all the information that we need to actually file a report with USA Hockey. We should not have to be guessing where the crush is coming from because we don't know, is the crush in Denver or is the crush in Florida? I have no idea. And, I know the AAA teams here in Chicago. I know the Central, I know the teams here in the area. I don't know all the teams that play South or West or some of the other areas. I may not know like what league they play in. I don't work those leagues. I don't know. And, I don't know if I should know. Should I know that? I don't know because, if I was watching everybody that carefully, I think I would have too much vested interest in calling a fair game. I just show up. I do the game you give me. You put the two teams out there. I make it happen. And at the end of the day, if we got a problem, it's on the paper and it goes to the person that's supposed to take care of that. And I'm off to my next game. It's just the reality of it. I mean,
So since we're talking,
that's
hang on, Scott. Since we're talking back to score sheets and stuff, make sure that you have a player's first initial. Just their last name doesn't help you when you're trying to find somebody.
Why do we not have rules that say you have to have the first name and last name of the player on there on your score sheet? Like most teams do the labels if they're doing a the paper sheet. I mean, this stuff should just be on there. Mm-hmm. What league do you play in? Where are you from? This information should be there, okay? You're New Trier. Okay, I know you're New Trier. I know you're in the Chicagoland area. I'll find you. But if you're the Crush and you're coming in to play, Loyola, I have no idea who you are.
I'll tell you something more. Here's more aggravation for you. All right, team comes in and they're from Ohio. What district are they in?
I agree. This should be on the
affiliate?
sheet. You should tell me what affiliate you're with, all the information that USA Hockey asks us. And they are asking for a lot of information on their game report. I just feel that information should be there. It should not be can you find the location for us type deal, because it takes a long time to do, and it usually requires some phone calls to some people. And I'll give you an example. The Cleveland Barons. Yes, they're from Cleveland, but I have no idea what organization, what league they play in. I have no idea. The only reason I know they're the Cleveland Barons is because their jersey said Cleveland Barons. I assume they were from Cleveland. But I had a team that was the Avalanche. All right, guys, put in
from Colorado.
the comments, where do you think the team called the Avalanche would be from? I'll give you, like 5 seconds to type something in there and click on it. Where do you think the Avalanche might be from?
Here.
And then I'll tell you where they're from.
If you're more frustrated, hang on. If you're more frustrated, I can add to it. So imagine having a team from Ohio
fuel the fire
that we've identified. Hey, we have the team, we have the district that they're in, right? Okay. Now we got to find their affiliate, okay? Well, guess what? Nothing that their team has on the score sheet, nothing. We have the state, nothing is what their name is. It's like our very own Chicago team that does it.
Yep.
And guess what you have to do in order to find that team?
Call somebody. Phone a friend.
What you do in order to
use a lifeline.
No, there's a simple solution. So when you go search for the players, what you do is you'll search for a player with a very unique last name in that state and hope that they come up. And if you're able to peg them, then when you go back to the main menu, it'll tell you what club they're affiliated with their number, when their number populates.
Okay, Brad, it's not a game show. I'm not getting a bonus for this. It's not a bonus round.
I'm just telling you.
I didn't wager, I'll put up
we're not here to
200 I
complain.
can find this team. I'm sorry. So going back, we talked about where the
I'm going to
Avalanche
start
are
betting
from.
people.
Somebody said Utah. Somebody said Aurora. Well, nobody said New Jersey.
Which
and that's where they
Aurora?
were from.
Wait a minute. Yeah,
We got more than one Aurora.
I've had the New Jersey Avalanche.
You've stumped the host if that's the case.
Colorado, Aurora, Colorado, Aurora, Illinois.
Either way, you're wrong because they're from New Jersey.
How about Springfield? Yeah, they're from Jersey. It's funny, but the only reason I know that is I had them once. And I'm like, you guys are from New Jersey?
I have no idea. Like, honestly.
I think I had them last year.
I didn't have a conversation with anybody that, they sounded like they were from New Jersey or whatever. So, no offense to anybody in New Jersey, okay? Oh, now somebody puts New Jersey. Yeah, New Jersey is the correct answer.
Yeah, there we go.
Ding, ding, ding. We have a winner. Yeah. Yeah, it's pain. This is painful. You're absolutely right. But this information should be on the game sheet. I'm sorry. We should not be searching to find this information. And for our AAA team here that is known as CYA, Chicago Young Americans, but yet they play under Windy City Storm, The only reason some of us know that is because we're here in Chicago. But if they were out in New York playing, I don't think, maybe they'll associate Windy City with Chicago and they'll look at Chicago, but they're not going to find the Windy City Storm because they're Chicago Young Americans when you go to look them up. This needs to be fixed. I'm sorry.
If they search a unique last name and they pop up, it'll say CYA.
$500 of their dollars to see if they could come up with the correct answer for the game show question. It's not right. I'm just saying. This is my personal opinion. This needs to be fixed. It's an issue. Our time is valuable. You guys want these game reports within 24 hours. We used to have 48 hours to do them. You want them within 24 hours. Guys are coming back from a men's league game or whatever. They're coming back at 12, 1 o'clock at night. Maybe they have to go to work the next day or it's a weekend and they're working and they're getting up and working the next morning. They've got to find time to do these. They do not have an hour or 2 hours to start phoning friends for information, trying to locate, which is what some of us have done in order to get these. Not just you. I've called other people because I don't want to always call you. Because you got enough going. You got how many thousand people calling you for that information? I'm trying to give you a break. So I phone other friends to try to get this information. But when it doesn't work, ultimately, we go to the knowledge base, which is the brain trust sitting to my right if you're looking at the screen, I guess. And Mr. Baumruck gives us the correct answer. He's like the game show host for, can you find the player? Can you find the team? Can you find the league? It's a simple fix. Let's get it fixed.
It has been amusing.
Let's fix it. Let's either put it on the sticker, put it into the computer, or, find a better way. Have a way to, you put a team name in and it'll tell you, okay, they play in this league. They play, or here's the choices of the 3 cities that they play out of. And, now you get A, B, or C. You get a 33 1/3 chance of winning. That's one issue I have. The other issue now, as long as we're on the game sheet thing, you got me going, which is probably your goal.
Was not my goal.
Well, I'm stepping up on my soapbox now. So I just think that, we have a lot of parents that are new to the electronic score sheet. The referees are new to the electronic score sheet. We need accessibility to that, to play around with it, to learn it, and figure out all the ins and outs, because we're the ones that get asked or the ones that are supposed to fix it. I had new parents yesterday in the score box, and all the roughs that were called were written in as checks. So, you're allowed to check in high school hockey, okay? Can't give you a penalty for checking. That was the case. We'd have given out 1,000 of those yesterday because it was a hard-hitting game. But we had a couple roughing penalties. So we had to go back and fix those. And the parents are like, well, I don't know. I'm new. I've never done this before, whatever. Okay, I get it, Here's another simple suggestion that I made to the parents is, hey, why don't you go enjoy the game, have a beer, hire a professional scorekeeper to come in here and do the job for you. Probably cost you $35, $40 per game. You could split that up, What do you do? 50 games a year, so every kid's going to pay for two scorekeeper rounds or something like that during the course of the year. You don't have to worry about it. Simple done. Trying to employ some people here, and they'll even do music for you. Yeah, and it makes it for fun.
And if you're the team manager and you happen to have a referee on their team, especially if you might be married to them, don't ask them to do it. They don't want to. No offense. Shout out.
I know who you're talking about. I don't know if everybody else knows if that's like an inside thing, but that would be Brad's wife. Just figured I'd let the cat out of the bag.
Yeah, she's not here to defend herself, so okay. This one I can get away with.
All right. Sorry, Rachel. I let you out on that one, but anyway, she's a good sport. She'll understand. But yeah, so I mean, these are some of the things that we have to look for to have the score sheet, be correct. But it is challenging. I don't understand. I know we've talked about this a little bit, but every game that we're going to, we're having to put ourselves into the database. Funny, they have my email address in there, but they don't have my name in there. How did you get my email address in the database? couldn't do that without me having my name in there. But when I go to search and I put my name in, I don't come up. I have to add myself in there. And then what do you have? It has my email address. Well, how did you get my email address then?
I haven't.
I
haven't had any of that. My name comes up, but not my email.
I had another game where we had 2 other referees on the game sheet. There were 2 other people already in up. Now, how do we delete out these 2? So we added ourselves in, and this is the stuff we're running into. It's it's crazy.
So that's actually a team manager trying to help you out. They're preloading the names.
Well, they preloaded
Just so you know.
the wrong names.
Because they.
Yep. Okay.
Well, I'm just telling you, that's somebody trying to help you out, because there's one organization that I referee quite a bit, and they always have the names in there, and they're like, "You're so and so, right?" Well, they know me now, but they're like, "Are you?" They ask the other person. Yeah, they always make sure, but yeah, they always have our names in there. So
that's good.
It's one of those things. That's just somebody trying to be smart.
Yep.
See, so you're complaining about something that somebody's trying to help you.
Well,
so I wanted to point that out.
In this case, these were new parents in there, so I know they didn't load it up for anybody. So I just don't know how the names appeared. Like we had the score sheet before the game. We had the electronic score pad, and we put ourselves in there. When I went to close out the game, there were 2 other referees on there. So I don't know how that one happens. No idea. No idea.
They probably opened the wrong score sheet at the beginning of the game or something.
Maybe.
Well, or they cleared it. Something happened.
Yeah. But, I mean, these are all the things that we're looking after. I would just like to have one of those iPads for a half hour to kind of fool around with and see how everything works in there, because even the coaches don't know how to put their starting goalie in there, how to do certain things. They don't know how to edit the score sheet, et cetera, et cetera. And then it comes back with errors, and it's like, okay, we went to both benches, should have been all good. Just, All right. Anybody else have any comments about the score sheets?
The other thing, I don't know, but the other thing I can tell you is if you are a team manager, please upload your score sheet to the cloud right away so that someone like me doesn't have to email you and go, "Hi, how's it going? It's Tuesday and your game was on Friday." The referees are still looking for the game report that should have been uploaded on Friday. Yeah. So that's become something new, but I think everybody will get used to it as the
step
season
beyond
rolls on.
When we go in and we hit end game? That's that closes the game out.
We lock it. Yeah, when we lock the game. Yep. So they can't change it anymore. Then it has to be uploaded to the cloud.
Should it be us locking the game? The referees should be locking the game, or should the scorekeepers be locking the game? You want the referees to lock the score.
We are locking the game.
Okay. Now, what do you do when you've got errors that we can't, because we're missing something? There's an error in there. We have scorekeepers that leave after the game ends, and they're gone. We haven't even seen the score sheet. They think they have everything they need, and they just start walking. They're gone. I mean, this is the stuff that we're having.
Well, I'm just saying, what kind of errors?
Well, you'll see errors on there that won't let you conclude the game. You went to the home team bench, and somehow now there's no home team signature, head coach signature in there now, and you did that at the start of the game. So
because
the coach is there at the bench. He's gone. He's gone with his team.
So I'll tell you this: is if you go to one bench and they sign it, and you go over to the other bench, and they've already signed it, and they have to edit it, you have to go back to the other bench and have them sign it again.
Why? So that's the issue then.
Because when they click to edit it. When they click to edit it as the second bench after the other bench is signed off, you have to go back to the other bench and get them to sign off on it again.
What is the reason for that?
I don't know what the reason is. I just know how the software works.
Okay,
but that's the reason.
There must be some logic in the software as to why that's happened. I mean, what's the reason behind it?
The only thing I can think The only thing I can think of is it would be resemblance of a starting lineup card. So, like, if in upper levels of hockey, there's a certain time when the visiting team has to submit their roster and starting lineup. And what happens is that goes from the visiting team to the home team. Then the home team has to draft their starting lineup and their roster. And then both of them trade copies. And one copy is submitted to the referee of both. So, in other words, it's still last rule. The home team gets the last change, even on the starting lineup. But they get it in advance with a lineup card from the visiting team. Then they make their lineup card. It goes to the referees, and then the home team goes back to the visiting team. So there's 3 copies of it. The visiting team and the home team have a copy of each, and then the referees have a copy of each. Right, that's what it's from.
Okay, so I guess my next question is, we have a paper score sheet. We never needed to know who the starting goalie was. Now we have to know who the starting goalie is for
some of the high school leagues. You had to know. You were supposed to circle them.
Which league? Is that down south? And you're one of the leagues you work?
Illinois West, yeah. And then I think actually, North Central did that too.
I've never heard that at a seminar or anything. So that's a new one on me.
It's a league rule.
Okay. Well,
so
I'm working West tonight. I don't normally work
that's
West.
That's the deal.
Yeah, that's good. Glad to know it. But yeah, so
you got to have starting goalkeeper.
Well, I'd like to see some of these things, I guess, get out to everybody. I don't think a lot of people know some of this stuff. So I guess, this is a good point. So we're sharing some knowledge today. So I hope you guys are learning something. If you have questions, put them into the comments. We'd love to, get in and, talk about this a little bit more in depth. Let's see. We got a couple comments right now. When in doubt, call Brad and end up on the phone for over an hour. Are you insinuating that Brad likes to be on the phone? Because I never got that impression.
Oh, quiet.
I don't know about
that. It's not
that.
a bad thing.
Eric checking in. The game sheet has a penalty lookup, so I don't get how that happens. The game sheet has a penalty lookup, so I don't get how that happens.
He's right. He's talking about your roughing penalties being called checking.
Yeah.
On the sheet. It's just somebody doesn't know what signal you're making or something.
There's 60 or 70 things in there. Yeah, well, there's 40 rules in hockey, so yes, there would be a reason to have a lot of things in there.
And a lot of variations.
Yeah. Karen says, several of the professional scorekeepers have told me that they often write everything down on a sheet and fill out the tablet later. Too hard to fix errors on the fly. I agree with you, Karen. I think that's the way to do it. Not only that gives you a backup because I know one of the referees I spoke with told me that apparently the iPad was not charged up before that game. And when that game completed, there was only 7% left on the iPad. They were lucky that they got through the game with the iPad. And, that's another thing that we've actually talked about on the show before, and that is to keep the additional score sheet. And what happens if that iPad
disgruntled
drops?
Scorekeepers.
Yeah.
Gets thrown at you. Something.
Yeah, well, I'm sure that'll happen this season. I'm not wishing it upon anybody, but I'm sure it'll happen at some point. Alan says Stadium hopes to open October 7th or before, and hi to Frankie. Frankie's right here. She's laying down right there, always close by. Brad's wife is listening. Thanks for helping out. We appreciate it. Yes, Brad's wife always listens to the show. Now, if
that was a shot at me.
Right.
Thanks for helping out. That's what she's saying.
Okay.
In other words, thanks a lot. Yeah, right. Yeah, see?
All right. For state games,
we
had to fill in the starting goalie. State games. Okay. I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, I knew that.
Okay. All right, cool. So that's the comments so far. All right. You want to go further on this on the score sheets? Do we want to, no?
No, I think we covered everything on score sheets. I knew this would be a topic that would get you going, though.
Yeah. Well, it's something I've wanted to
and
talk
I didn't
about.
even tell you beforehand.
Really
I tried.
From working some of the showcases that we had, a lot of teams that we don't see. We might see them once during the course of the season or twice, and you just don't know where they're from. You have a little conversation with the coach before the game, but you're not going to ask him, Coach, what league do you play in? What division is that? And, are you on the west side of the street or the east side of the street? You know,
You mean like with Michigan teams? Where are you at from here?
yeah.
Please tell me where you're at.
Are you on the thumb or are you on the
ever
index
see- we're right
finger?
here.
Yeah. No, we're
over here.
We're on the palm. We're on the ball of your hand there. That's where we are. Anyway, your thoughts on, are we going to be working a lot of solo games this year, Brad? I mean, as I looked at the schedule, the available
I don't think
games,
so.
For next weekend, it looks, a lot of openings still. So I hope we get a lot of guys that still haven't completed or, planning on coming back. We certainly need help.
It's still early.
Yeah.
It's still early in the week. It's Monday.
Yeah.
So
I get you.
It'll take off.
Yep. All right. So here's one. I thought I'd throw this out here for all you guys. So let's say you have a goalie that you give a misconduct to, and this didn't happen, by the way. This is a hypothetical, but I was thinking about this. I'm like, okay, got a goalie that you give a misconduct to. Let's say he shoots the puck down the ice or something. When you go to retrieve it, he's pissed off, and you give him a 10-minute misconduct. Okay. All right. Now we have an incident later in the game, a little bit further on, and the goalie gets another misconduct. So, well, who was serving his first misconduct? Well, for all you guys, you could put it in the comments. I'm sure you know who was serving his first misconduct, because somebody has to serve that penalty, because we have a 10. You guys want to put it in the comments? All right. Well, I'll save you the trouble. It's anybody that was on the ice at the time of the infraction.
What is your point?
My point is,
now
the goalie gets a second misconduct. You still got a player in the box serving his first misconduct. Does that guy come out of the penalty box, or does he have to sit out and ride out that whole misconduct?
I know the answer.
Okay.
I know the answer 100%. I thought your thing was going to be, do you remove him from the ice for a second? Yeah, because you remove him. But I got where you're going with that. It's actually a good question.
He gets a second misconduct. He's gone for the game. He has 2 misconducts. He's going home. Okay. But you have a player that's serving his first misconduct. Does that first player stay in the penalty box and complete his 10-minute misconduct? Or do you let that player out of the box at that point? Because the goalie's gone. Nobody needs to serve his penalty.
I would like to see if anybody else wants to take a stab at it, but I actually know 100% the answer, and I can explain it to make it very simple.
Great. This is a hypothetical,
you didn't prep
guys.
This
has
one,
not happened,
but this is a good question.
But I thought this was kind of interesting. I was thinking about this. I'm like, boy, if you put a guy in there, somebody's got to serve that penalty. So, since now you've sent the goalie home and he was only serving the penalty on behalf of the goalie's been sent home. Do you take that guy out of the box? Or does he continue to ride out the 10-minute misconduct? I'm waiting to see some comments in the box here. It's getting. I hear.
Yeah, you got crickets over there?
Crickets in the box, man.
Go. Hey, you actually used that thing for once.
Yeah.
Except for me.
Yeah. You guys gonna put a comment in there? Come on, we got people watching this show.
I don't know. They're
probably going to scurry off now.
There's actually quite a few people watching again.
Yeah.
Everybody ran away. Everybody's grabbing their rule book.
Okay. All right. Well, why don't we give them the answer, Brad? You know the answer 100%, so I'm going to let you explain this one to everybody. See?
All right. So, USA Hockey is time served. So, the player has to serve that penalty time. So even if that goalie gets removed during it, he still has to serve that 10 minutes. The only time that time is alleviated is if a minor gets scored on.
Right.
That's it. Other than that, they have to serve it in its entirety.
So even if the goalie's gone after 2 minutes,
but that's a great question.
And
I haven't even thought of that. But that's an absolute great question.
Well, it's funny because I asked the question a couple weeks ago on the show. If you had a player that was injured towards the end of the game and the player has to leave the ice because he caused the stoppage and the coach wants to take it. The coach asked me, can I take a timeout? Will that let the player come back in and he can, resume play right away without having to come off the ice? Well, I had that coach the other day, and I would, I was like, by the way, I have to tell you, that was a great question you asked. And you should have seen how animated the coach was, because he knew exactly. He's like, oh, and he started telling all the guys on his bench, the other coaches that were with him. He got like smile from ear to ear, and just like he was happy as could be. Why? Because I think a referee actually listened to him when he asked a question and knew what the proper response was, because you knew the rule, knew how to enforce the rule and what the rule was all about. And that, you took the time to even go back and research it to make sure the call was made properly, and that you went back to him and said, hey, that was a great question. I mean, I love getting a great question from a coach. Getting beefed at about something or complaining, kind of goes in one ear. It's just part of the job, like, well, what about the call in the corner? But if you have a great question like that, I think that's awesome. I mean, that was one of the better questions I've had from a coach, and I was really excited. And I was excited to see how excited he was, because when I went back to him with that, I was like, you remember that question you asked me about 2 weeks ago? He goes, yeah, about the player. And he knew. But, guys, it's a great way to build a little rapport with the coaches that you're working with. And I think the coaches will have more respect for you, because you are taking it to heart, that you're serious about what you're doing, and that you're listening to, what their concern is, and that you can address it properly. So I just think that that's a really good example to use for all you guys that are working lots of games and seeing some of the same coaches, week in and week out, or, month in and month out, whatever. It's something that you can use to your advantage in that situation. So I just thought I'd share that.
No, I agree with you. Especially if you see the same coaches. Yeah. That you're thinking about it afterwards, because a lot of us do go think about it.
Yeah.
They just don't know about it.
Yeah. I mean, coaches don't realize that the refs will go back I don't care if it's between periods, between the, on an ice cut. They will go back there and they will start looking through the book, and they will start asking questions like, do I have the interpretation of this right? I need to see this one. They are serious about it. They want to know. They want to get the calls right. And I'm not sure coaches always, think that the refs are really like on top of it with stuff like that. But I think your real refs are. They are working very hard on your behalf, even in the background when you can't see it. So I wanted to share that. That's all. So I thought that was a good thing to kind of end on. All right. Well, we, an hour goes pretty fast. We haven't quite hit it yet, but I've got games tonight, or a game tonight. Brad's been working a long 10 or 12-hour day, and now he's got to do his hockey job. So we are going to sign off until next week. Anything you want to cover before we go?
No, I got through most of that, though, when you and me were getting ready to get on today. So I think I got pretty much all of that squared away. I think I got one more thing to do. So all right. It's a Monday. Mondays are busy.
Yep. If you guys want to support the channel, we do this every week. We would love you to, A, hit the subscribe button, B, hit the notification button, smash the like button a couple times. We appreciate that as well. And if you want to go a step further, we'd love some caffeine. You can go to you can go to buymeacoffee.com. Let me switch the screen here. We'll go back to this one. buymeacoffee.com/refroom and buy us some caffeine. I think it's about $4 for caffeine, if I'm not mistaken, and it helps support the channel. So we appreciate that when you guys do it, and I know a number of you are pretty much regulars at doing that, and it goes along.
Yeah.
We do appreciate it, because we do actually pay for this out of our pocket. It costs us money to put this show on every week. So, any help is appreciated. And with that being said, go on and take some more games, everybody. You know that we got a lot of openings. We're only a month away from Super Weekend.
Oh yeah, month away.
I haven't gotten my games
That
yet,
was what I was gonna close with.
Oh,
That's right. What I was gonna close with. The Super Weekend. You stole it. That's okay.
Know.
Yeah, it's coming.
Know.
So if anybody's out of state, I'll give you the email address. Look, you turned your camera off now, too. You got all kinds of things going on.
I didn't. I hit a different slide. I was going to just say, see if I had the Brad breakaway one, but I don't have it in front of me here. So I was going to put your breakaway up so you could say something about that. But yeah, we're only we are a month
No,
away
you're good.
from Super Series or Super Weekend, whatever you want to call it. Lots of teams coming in. 1,400 games in a weekend. Is that right?
Yep.
Plus whoever wasn't smart enough to not play in Chicago that weekend.
I think it was 1428, I think, last year. I think they told me. I can't remember, though.
It's a lot of games.
It's rolling into one big hockey game. So
Yeah, big time.
yes, it is.
Get ready to work those 4, 5, 6 a day, maybe more. It's going to be good. All right. Well, that's it for us. We will see you guys next Monday, 5:30 p.m. Chicago time. It's the Ref Room. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification button, and we'll see you next Monday. On behalf of myself, Scott Smokin SIlz, and Brad Baumruck, peace out, everybody. Have a great week.
All right. Bye.